Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Kemi, and I'm here to talk about Next Gen NYC Season 1, Episode 5. Every episode that they do of this show, Charlie makes it more and more apparent that he's not a likable person, and he really does not need to be on this show. Like, at all. At all. So, we start the episode where we ended it last episode, which was Ava and Ariana discussing the whole I didn't think that she would be in fashion. You see Gia talking, and Gia is like, she has Ariana's back. So Gia, Ariana are they're both like not going after our Ava, but like they tag team her in a way. Kind of, I guess. Um Georgia and Brooks is sitting over there laughing, and Riley is just like, "Yeah, I'm not about to be a part of that." Every time Gia sees a friend fighting, she always inserts herself. So I'm not about to argue. Like y'all got enough people arguing, so y'all can have that. So we see So like I guess they come to not even they don't because they bring out the cake for Chloe and sorry, they bring out the cake for Chloe because again it's her they're doing like a party for her. So they start singing happy birthday and um then they leave or whatever. So the next day we see Georgia and her business partner, I can't remember her name. We see them and they're talking about they're meeting up because they're about to throw Meredith her last name is Brooks, right? Meredith Brooks. That's her last name, right? So what's Brooks? Because isn't Seth Brooks, so his name is Brooks or Child, I don't know. Is that their last name? I don't know. I ain't never thought about that because I thought her name was Meredith Brooks and that's her husband's last. I thought it was Seth Brooks too. But Brooks's name, or do they just call him Brooks? Child, whatever. Anyway, so Meredith is about to have a party for her caviar line, and Georgia and her business partner are throwing the party. So they're discussing like the event and like the things that they have planned and who's going to be invited and all of that. Then we see Brooks and Meredith. They're going to like I guess for her to pick for her to get like her outfit for that day, so they're going shopping or whatever they're doing. And I'm tired of seeing Meredith and Seth, honestly. Like I need them. This is supposed to be for Brooks. Let him fly on his own. It's like if this show is supposed to be centered around him, because again, this show is supposed to be centered around him because everybody knows each other based off of Brooks. And it's like he's a friend of because he can't stand on his own because his parents are always around. It's like, so that's I'm tired of seeing Meredith and Seth. If I wanted to watch them, I would watch Salt Lake City, and I do watch that. So I don't need to see Meredith year round. She's really not my fave. So I'm just tired of seeing them. So they're getting we find out that Brooks, well, we've always known Brooks is her stylist and all this other stuff. And so he's like trying to help her with her aesthetic, and he's just like, you don't know what your aesthetic is. Like you dress like you're pulling clothes from Chloe's closet, which is her daughter. And she's just like, I'm not elderly. Why are you trying to teach me treat me like I'm elderly? And it's just like, because you dress like you're 19 and you're not, and it's not cute. Like even the outfit that she wore to this to go and get styled was like, it was like a mini skirt with a black strapless with some whatever. And it's just like, girl, like like you don't have to dress like you're a grandma, but dress a little bit like you got sense, because this is not cute. The way you dressed in this scene wasn't cute. When you met up with Georgia and your business partner to go see the venue, that wasn't cute. Like, you had on like this wraparound skirt that showed your thigh highs, and you're just walking around New York, and it's just like, that's not cute. But each his own. Everybody has their own style. It's just, I guess. So we find out that Meredith fired Brooks because he missed the email, and her jean palette, something like that, didn't go out, and all this other stuff. And it's just like, sir, get from up underneath them people, like, for real. Like, go out and do your own thing. Like, you want to do your own clothing line, so focus on that. Let your mom hire her own assistant. Why do you have to be her assistant and her stylist and all this other stuff? Go and do your own thing. Let her find someone else to do that for her, because clearly it's stressing you out, it's stressing her out. That's supposed to be your best friend, but you don't want to ruin that, like, that relationship that y'all have, but y'all are continuing to do it. And I guess, so we see, let's see what else happens, because like we had like a really long scene of them talking, and it's just like, oh gosh. So we see Ariana, she's at her place, and she's like doing a post for Instagram or TikTok or whatever. So she's like, I gotta start back making money, since I'm putting all my money into this clothing line. So I gotta get on it. So she's like making a get ready with me content or whatever. And then we see Ava talking about her having to work for her money, and she's never got it easy a day in her life or something like that. And I'm just like, girl, your Dame Dash is your dad, and Rachel Roy is your mom. Like, okay, if you say so. We see Georgia um on the phone making calls, because I guess she's like, getting ready for, trying to get ready for this event that she's about to throw for um Meredith. And then we see Dylan and Charlie in their hotel. I mean, not hotel, but their apartment, and they're sleeping. And in the confessional, Dylan is talking about, normally, like on a regular day, he used to go to bed like 12, 1 o'clock max. Since he's been friends or been staying with Charlie, they go to bed at 6:30, and like, he's all out of whack because they just go out and everything. So like, he needs to get himself together, because it's just like, wow. We see Charlie up and about, and he's texting Georgia about some speakers, because he's just like, I need my speakers. Then we see Riley. She goes to visit Ariana, and she brings them a housewarming gift, because they just moved or whatever, and they're trying to make like they're trying to make food, and they don't know how to turn on the oven. And Riley was just like, "What's that clicking? Have y'all been in the kitchen before?" And it was just like, "Have you been in the kitchen? What you mean? What's that clicking? That's how it sounds when you got to get the gas on." Like, what? But then again, y'all probably ain't. Y'all know, child, whatever. So they talk about the whole Ava of it all, and the night before at Chloe's party. Um, ooh, sorry. So yeah, so they talk about that, and then how their friendship has grown and everything, and what they're like, what they're doing, what they're planning, and all of that other stuff. Then we see Ava and Charlie meet up at this vegan spot, because her dad is taking over for the guys who had it, because they have 3 locations, and they said they couldn't maintain all 3, so they offered it to Dame Dash. So now Dame Dash is about to open up this spot or whatever. So we see them going through the spot or whatever, and it's like, I feel like Ava likes Charlie, and I don't know why, but she looks like she picked douchey guys, and that's right up Charlie's alley. So she calls Dame to let him know that she's there, and they're looking around, and then here's just like, Charlie, you want to get in on this? What do you want to get in on it with us? And he was just like, sure, yeah, okay. And then Ava was just like, you can get a liquor license. And he was just like, oh, that should be no biggie. I'll ask my dad for a loan. And it's just like, bruh, Okay. And then they show on the screen like to get a liquor license in New York, it's 30K. So Ava and Charlie sit down and they talk about uh I don't even know what they talk about. I can't remember, but I know they talked about the whole oh, she asked him how him and Georgia are doing, and he's upset that she still hasn't returned the speaker. And then he was just like, "Man, remember how she used to stay at my house all the time and just eat and just she used to sleep at my house because she was homeless and she used to eat my scraps and all this other stuff." And it was just like, what type of friend are you? Like, and you too, Ava, you just sitting there laughing, and it's just like y'all are both of y'all are trash. Like, I don't know, I'm not featuring Ava. Like, she's coming off real. Ugh. So we see Georgia and her boyfriend. They're together. They go out to eat, and he tells her that he loves her, and they've only been dating for a couple of months. And she's just like, "Yeah, that's like a red flag. Like, you told me that you the last girl that you were with, you told her you loved her after a couple of days, and it's just like, do you really mean it, or are you just saying it, and all this other stuff?" And it's just like, for real, because really, okay, but I digress. So then we start talking. I'm sorry, they start talking about how she went to go visit the location for Meredith's event, and like her, Meredith, and her business partner were coming there to look at the venue and like see where they were going to play stuff and everything. And when they get there, they find out that the people have been evicted. So like that place is a no-go. Meredith shows up, so we see the flashback of this, and Meredith shows up and is she's just like irritated, and it's just like yeah, I'd be irritated too, because what. So she like scrambled. She was just like, I was on the phone for like 4 hours trying to find something and X, Y, and Z. So she did find something, so they have a new venue and all of that. So we see them at the new venue because it's the night of the party, and Georgia gets a phone call from Charlie asking about his speakers, and she was just like, I don't like. She was just like, do you need the speakers right now? Because aren't you coming to the event? Do you need it? He was just like, yeah, I need it now because um we're going, like, I'm doing an event after, I'm going, like, people are coming to my house um after Meredith's thing, so I need my speakers. And she was just like, bruh, you can't, like, I need more time. Like, don't spring this on me last minute. Like, I'm in the middle of something. I can't get it for you right now. You're not gonna get it tonight. Give me a couple of days. Like I'm busy. And so she hangs up. So Meredith shows up. They bring their caviar. We see them, people showing up. We see Teresa shows up. Shy is there. Dylan and Charlie show up. Amira and her boyfriend show up. Riley comes. Um, Hudson and Ariana are there. They're all like, having a good little time. Everyone is mingling and everything. Jo- um, uh, Amira tells Charlie, she was just like, let's go to the box, which is some like exclusive club or whatever. It's really expensive to get a section. So they're just like, yeah, we should go to the box. We can split it if we all come. So Charlie is telling them, like, let's go. We're going to go to the box afterwards, X, Y, and Z. He invites Hudson and Ariana, and he tells them how much it is and that they're going to split it. Riley is down. They're all down. And then he's telling Georgia, and Georgia's just like, yeah, I'm not like, what do I look like paying to get into any club in New York? No. And he was just like, well, yeah, Ava's coming. And she was just like, oh, Ava's going to be there with y'all. She was just like, no, she's coming here. And she was just like, we're about to close, we're about to shut down in 20 minutes. What do you mean she's coming? And he was just like, yeah, she's like down the street. She's waiting for the rain to die. And she was just like, you mean she's a block away and she won't come because it's raining? So Ava finally shows up, and we find out that she has sent a text to Ariana and Gia, and she apologized. They accepted her apology, but it's still a little and Amira is not featuring her because she was just like, that was a bully move, and I don't like girls like you. So and then Gia was just like, I know I show up late to places, but that was ridiculous because the girl showed up like with 10 minutes left in the event, and you looking for caviar. Girl, it's over. What do you mean? So they all go to the club afterwards. We don't see it. We see the next day. Yeah, we see the next day. We see Riley going to meet up with Candy, Todd, and her, her siblings or whatever. So I was even looking at this when Riley showed up. I was just like, "Girl, did you put anything in your hair? Like, your hair looked dry." And when she sat down, the first thing Candy said, "So no juices and berries for your hair?" And she was just like, "Ha ha ha, you're a hater." And it was just like, "Girl, what? Like, you look like you just woke up and said whoop whoop and then left the house. Like, come on, Riley, you should put some curls and do something. Like, what?" So they're talking, and she's just like, "Man, I need some coffee." And she's just like, "What do you need coffee for? Like, what's going on?" And she's just like, "Oh my God, I'm so tired. We went out, and da da da." So then they start talking about like what Riley's plans are, because Riley, like she said, the initial plan was for Riley to come to New York, go to school, and then get her law degree because she's supposed to be a lawyer. But Riley doesn't want to go on that path no more. She wants to be a DJ. And Candy is just like, "Oh Lord." And she's just like, "Girl, you got 6 months." You need to start making your money. And it's just like, I understand what you're trying to do, Candy, but you ain't gonna leave your daughter out like that. You still gonna be footing the bill. And ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ariana shows up, and Candy is like so happy that um they rekindled their friendship, and it's like no time has passed, and she's excited for them, so happy. They start talking about the night before when they went to the club. So apparently when they went to the box, they had asked her what's going on with her and Charlie, because the last time that we seen Candy and Riley talking was when the whole thing with the Charlie with his microaggressions. So they're asking her like, what's going on, and she was just like, "Oh yeah, he's mad at me again." And then we get a scene of Charlie talking to his dad, asking his dad for money, and then we see he's meeting up with Dylan. So we go back to we go back to Riley, Ariana, Candy, and Todd, and they're talking about the situation. So apparently what happened was they went to the box the night before, and Charlie had invited like 10 girls. So they came in, and Riley had nowhere to sit. Mind you, she's paying for this. Charlie's supposed to be paying for this. Amira's supposed to be paying for this. And Ariana and Hudson are supposed to be paying for this section. But none of them can sit anywhere because Charlie has invited all his girls, and they're drinking all the bottles. And it was just like, mind you, it was 1942. And it was just like, and Candy was just like, 1942? Like, that ain't no cheap bottles. Like, excuse me. So she was just like, yeah. So she was just like, I had to kick them out because it's like, that's not fair. And she was just, then Candy was just like, well, how much was it? And she was just like, let me move away. And she was just like, it was 14. And it was like, 14 what? And it was like 14,000. And Candy was just like, not on a card that I'm paying for. And so we find out that so Amira is gonna split that. Like, Amira, Hudson, Ariana, and Riley are splitting that. So it was just like, I think it came up to, or Amira and Riley split it, so it came up to 6,000 or 7,000 a piece or something like that. And then Ariana and Riley are gonna split that 6,000 or whatever. So, or I think that's what they said. So we go to Dylan and not Hudson. We go to Dylan and Charlie talking about it, and Dylan was just like, "So did Ariana pay? Did Riley pay?" And he was just like, "Yeah, she must have paid, because for her to say, 'Oh, I don't want none of your money.'" And I'm just like, "Cool." But then Hudson was just like, "No, you like." Hudson had to come off of eight 8K for that night, and he was just like, "No, we need some money. Like, you ain't about to put this all on us or whatever." So Dylan is just like, "So what does Riley do?" Like, oh my God, like all this other stuff. And he was just like, I have a lot of nepo baby friends, and um that's cool and all, but it gets to a point where I'm the one that's always footing the bill, and that's not cool because he's not a nepo baby. And it's like in this instance, I was annoyed, irritated with Charlie and Dylan, because Dylan, you complaining about having to take the bill for your nepo baby friends, and the only nepo baby friend that you're footing the bill for is Charlie, the one that you are living with. So for you to make it seem like you're footing the bill for Riley and Ariana and Ava and all of them, you're not. It's the person that you live with that you are footing the bill for, and you need to talk to him and tell him, instead of trying to make it seem like it's Riley and them. Riley and them are good. It's the one that you live with that ain't good. He get an allowance and he still can't pay for nothing. So for you to do all this other stuff, and you're talking about, oh, Charlie is a good guy, he's just not motivated, and this and that, and it's just like, talk to him, like tell him all of this. What type of friends are y'all? Like, this man about to be 30 and you're 20, 25, and you got your head on straight, and you letting this man steer you off the right track. Like, what's wrong with you? Something wrong with you as well, because like, ain't no way I'm gonna be sitting there and letting this man, like, no. And you not a friend because you won't tell him about himself, or try to explain it, and you're faulting his dad for coddling him. And it's just like, yeah, but he's 30 years old. Like, yeah, his daddy need to stop giving him money, but if his daddy stopped giving him money, he still wouldn't be like, that boy is, and he is a boy. Charlie is a boy. He acts like a boy, and he is. This is he like, I don't know what it is about. Like, I do know what it is. It's like, he's annoying. He everything that he's like, he everything that disgusts him about like Ariana and Riley and all of that applies to him, but it applies to him in a way that is above and beyond what applies to them. Because yes, Riley may get we don't even know if she gets an allowance from what's it called, we don't know if she gets an allowance from Candy. But you, what's it called, Charlie, you over there asking, well, what does Riley do? And he's just like, I think she's an influencer, and you're like turning your nose up against that. And it's just like, you do OnlyFans. You are also an influencer on OnlyFans. So you turning your nose up at um Ariana and Riley for being influencers is just like, are y'all okay? Charlie, you don't do nothing. You're a crypto trader who gets money from your dad to crypto trade, and you not making no money, no return on your investment. So you turning your nose up on somebody making money as an influencer. You have a whole master's, and you're talking about it's a vague master's, and I just got it just to get my dad off my back. It's a hospitality master's. You could do something with that, but you choose not to. But you're turning your nose up at someone who's making their own money, let it be influencer or not. Y'all both can kick rocks. Both of y'all are just like, something is wrong with both of them. And I did not like this scene, did not like it one bit. So we see, what do we see next? We see like the crew going out to eat, and everyone is there except for Ava and Charlie, because Ava's in the Hamptons and Charlie is, he got COVID from one of the girls that he brought over or whatever. So as they're there, Georgia is getting these texts from Charlie, like, where's my speakers? Like, I need my speakers. Like, now it's like, it's borderline being disrespectful. You won't give me my stuff. And it's just like, are you okay over some speakers? Like, sir, what is wrong with you? So they all start talking about how Charlie owes like people money, because it was just like, Amira was just like, yeah, what he did the other night, he did that to me in the Hamptons too. He brought all these girls in, and then I had to pay for it. And then he said he would pay me back, but he still hasn't paid me back. We find out from Hudson that Dylan was telling Hudson that Charlie owes him like 4 racks, and he still hasn't paid him back. And we see the flashback to him telling him that. And then Georgia's just like, I'm starting to get worried because it's like before he would used to do that, he would be like, I'm gonna pay you back, but he would pay me back. But now it's just like he says he's gonna pay me back, but he doesn't. And I'm hearing that he's doing that with other people, and he gets an allowance from his dad. And Riley was just like, well, how much is he getting? Like, how much is he getting? And she's just like, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna talk about it. And they're just like, yeah, let's not do that. And it's just like, girl, you've already talked about it. You put it on national television. You told, if I'm not mistaken, you told Brooks and Dylan when y'all were at Charlie's dad's house. You told him then. Like, but I move. So they move the conversation because they're talking about, their age and birthdays and all this other stuff. And we find out that Brooks is about to turn 25, and he's dreading it because he feels like when he turns 25, he's going through a quarter life crisis. He turns 25, that means next he's going to be 50 and then 100 and then die. And it's just like over dramatic much, but I digress. So Gia is just like, we should have a party. Let's go to Jersey Shore for your birthday. I think that would be so much fun and so cool. So they're just like, okay, cool, let's do it. Let's have fun, X, Y, and Z. So we then see a little montage of Ariana and Hudson speaking with some guy about the clothing line and like going through the steps and like seeing what they can do. We also see Brooks with his boyfriend exercising. Then we also see him with Dylan, and Dylan is still teaching him how to sew, and he's sewing stuff. We see Georgia and her boyfriend, and they're at a meeting for the new, like, because they're opening up a venue or whatever. So they're going to like see about venue and like spacing it out and seeing what they want in it and all that other stuff, to like the venue that I think is the venue that they chose, and they're trying to see what they can do with that venue. We see Charlie texting her again about them dang on speakers, talk about, I had to put my phone in a solo cup because I didn't have my speakers. And it's just like, sir, you owe your roommate 4 bands and you complaining about a $200 speaker? I cannot with Charlie. Like, he is a bum of all bums. Like, are you okay? Child. So we find out the whole thing about the speakers, and he's mad because it took her so long to get him back the speakers, and she inconvenienced him and all this other stuff. And it was just like, sir, sir, it was some speakers. If you wanted some speakers that dang bad and you this all popular person, you could have went and bought you some new speakers. They were some Bose speakers, them portable speakers at that. You could have got that off of Amazon for a couple of bucks. Child. So we see Charlie skating around New York being a bum. And then Georgia and her roommate, they're meeting at this place or whatever. And so they meet at this place and they're talking about their business or whatever. And Charlie comes, and he, like, they start talking about stuff. And so she was just like, you want to see our business card? We're an LLC. So she shows him the card. They're like, talking about it. And he's telling her how he may go into business with what's her name, with Ava, with that vegan spot or whatever. And then she was just like, why aren't you coming to us or whatever? We're like a whole business, or like, we do stuff like this. And he was just like, I'm starting to regret doing anything with you. And it was just like, she was just like, same with me. And then they get into it. And He was so disrespectful. Like, so disrespectful. Him calling her dirt poor, him saying, like, if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't be on this show. If you was a man, I would slap you. Like, over a speaker? Like, you are really throwing a friendship away over a speaker. Something ain't right with that boy. Something is not right with him. Like, he did the absolute most. Like the absolute most behind this speaker. And she was just like, you got your speaker, so what is the problem? It took you too long to get me my speaker. That was disrespectful. You owe her money. You owe Dylan money. You owe Riley, Amira, Hudson money. And you are complaining because you didn't get your speakers in a timely fashion. Please have several seats. Please have all the seats and don't come back on this screen. It's like every episode, he irritates me. He does something that's irritating. The way he talks is irritating. The way he moves is irritating. The way he acts is irritating. For you to be 29, about to be 30, you are a bum. And I hope he's watching himself and he sees the type of person he is and he decides to make changes. But because of the type of person that he is, he probably isn't going to want to make changes. And he's going to be one of those people like, I am who I am. And if y'all don't like it, that's on you. We don't like it. Get off our screen. They get picked up for a season 2. Please don't bring him back. We do not need to see him. Like, at all. But yeah, that was the episode. Y'all get down in the comments. Tell me what y'all thought about this episode. How do y'all feel about Charlie? Because, ooh, child. But if you like what you see, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.